Hey everyone, today I'm reviewing Untrue by Burial. From what I understand, Burial made this in like a very short amount of time, and he like basically used like the Scratch.io version of a fucking music making software, like the most bare bones, basic, like no features sort of shit. And it's all because of his talent or whatever. Anyways, I don't really care. It's impressive, but let's talk about the music. The album is like about an hour long and it's 13 tracks. And if I had to sum up like how it feels to listen to it, it's like being stuck in the most fucked up, evil version of a Sephora or like an H&M store or like just any shopping mall. The album feels incredibly kind of lonely and isolated. If that makes sense, I don't know. I'm just trying to like say some random shit. Part of this is due to some of the sounds and the instrumentals are like they feel like they're further away than others, which kind of helps isolate the different parts. That's one thing I noticed while listening, which I found really interesting. Each track sounds pretty similar. It doesn't really get too repetitive. I feel like near the end, the sound becomes a bit less interesting than how it started, but I'll get into that. Each track is similar in sound, but they're noticeably different from each other, and most of them are distinct from one another. Genuinely listening to this album, like it really just flies by. The time is, it doesn't even feel like 50 minutes, and that's just because of how good each of these tracks are. My favorite tracks by far are the title track, Untrue, as well as Homeless. I just love the way the samples are used on those, and each of those tracks have like this kind of like droning noise that plays through on the second half. And not all the tracks have this element to it, because a lot of the tracks share the same elements, but they're just slightly different. But these two tracks have this like other noise that kind of comes in that I don't notice on the other track, and it's really nice. As I mentioned before, my one issue with this album is I feel like near the end of the album it kind of teeters off a bit. UK is a fine track, it's basically a interlude, but Raver, it's a pretty weak outro. It's definitely not a bad song by any means, but I think in terms of everything else on the album before it, it doesn't leave the album off on a very strong note, and it's by far my least favorite track on the album. I find Raver to be like if you took the ideas and the sounds on all the rest of the songs and kind of boiled them down to like the most basic versions of themselves, then you'd get Raver. I think the final track just is really weak compared to the rest of them. Overall though, I mean, Untrue is an amazing listening experience. It's incredible how the sound doesn't really get too tiring, and it's just incredibly dark. At the same time, you want to nod your head to it just because of how good these beats are. It's really an amazing album that I highly recommend everybody go listen to. Again, my only issue with it is I think the outro is very weak. I'm going to give Untrue by Burial a 9 out of 10. That's my thoughts on the album. What do you think about the album? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Tell me in the comments below, or say anything else. It doesn't really matter. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.